Welcome back to Villa TV and to Matchday Live for our post-match show. Another 3 points on the board, up to third in the Premier League for Aston Villa with a 1-0 win over Wolves in the West Midlands derby, lads. We watched it all together, didn't we, James? What did you make of it overall?
It's a fantastic result in the end. The game didn't perhaps go how I thought it would before the game. I predicted a 3-0 win.
I did ask you about the 70-something minute. Where are you going to get your extra 2 goals from now?
It was a lot closer than that, and I think Wolves certainly had the better chances in the first half, and probably were a little unlucky with the chances they had not to go in with the lead at the half. But yeah, thankfully we've came out on the right side of a tricky fixture, and I think the result, especially going into Christmas with the amount of fixtures that's coming up, is a really, really good one.
It's always these fixtures for Villa, isn't it? When we see the performance that they put up against Bournemouth and the likes of Man City, it's always these teams who are slightly struggling, fighting for their lives, sit in that low block that Villa just always slightly seem to struggle against. However, they found the breakthrough again today.
Yeah, I think James is right. I think a tricky fixture is exactly what we were speaking about before the game. I said it would be tight. I thought we'd win 2-0, but to be honest, they were stubborn, with that, defending very deep with nowhere to go in behind. Chances for us in the first half were almost non-existent, really, apart from a couple of shots from outside the box. And the game was going exactly the way Rob Edwards would wanted to go for Wolves, to be honest. But the goal that's won it's an absolute cracker, by the way. Any game at all. And the finish from Kamara was absolutely fantastic. And we still had chances, to be fair, to score more than 1 goal. But it was always going to be one of those fixtures where they're in a position where they're fighting for their lives and making it as difficult as they can for us. And that's exactly what they did. But thankfully, and it's a massive 3 points, incidentally. Yes. It's a massive 3 points. I was more confident about going into the game today that we'd win the game, which we have, but I thought we'd win it more comfortably. But certainly in terms of the chances, I think James is right. They caused us some problems. I think we were a little lucky. I didn't really see the offside position when Strand scored, but nevertheless it's still a wonderful, and the guys in the dressing room now will just be ecstatic. They've managed to put ourselves, with a win last week against Leeds, a win midweek, and then a huge 3 points against Wolverhampton Wanderers, with us playing Brighton on Wednesday night. Yeah,
like I say, momentum is so key at present. We were talking about this in the pre-match show, weren't we, with the run of fixture going into December that Villa now have, and to be able to keep this momentum powering forwards, James, it can only be a positive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think momentum in football is huge. As a team and individually, it builds confidence, and you go into a game, certainly with the amount of fixtures that you're going to have, believing that you can win, and you don't feel as tired as daft as that sounds if you're on the back of a good run of results.
Yeah, so
it was a sticky fixture, wasn't it? For you, it was one of those that fouls and things, and then the game didn't get any flow, and then we didn't really manage to create a lot of chances, and there was fouls in the middle of the park, and that it was one of those games, wasn't it? Which is probably great for us in terms of to get through it, but it certainly wasn't one you're going to look back and go, "Hey, we won the league because we beat Wolverhampton Wanderers at home 1-0." The game was rotten, if you know what I mean. Anyway, but certainly it was one of those sticky.
It was by no means a classic, was it? But tight games like this are sometimes won by set pieces or a wonder goal like Boubacar produced this evening.
And we see this with Wolves, don't we? Especially at the Molineux. We see that loads with the record that they've got there against Villa. But also when they come here, it can always be a slightly tricky fixture, and it's cagey, it's scrappy, it became that way. But should we take it right back to the start? We were actually quite impressed to a good degree how Wolves actually started. They didn't just sit in straight away. They were actually playing for about the first 20.
I agree, because we said they have to come out and at least try and score a goal, which they haven't done now in 5 games, but never, or rather they've conceded in whatever the last 5 games. But even so, I thought they came out better. Actually, some of the play was quite good, but I like João Gomez in the middle of the park, and with Andre they did okay, but they didn't really threaten us massively. I mean, we were the better team. There's no question we were the better team in terms of possession, but the possession they had was miles away from the edge of the box. So we weren't under a huge amount of pressure. It wasn't until we actually gave the ball a couple of times away from home that they managed to get a couple of half chances, but no more than that really. But you're right, you just said there, it was a game where nothing flowed particularly smoothly, and it was a bit like trying to keep them at arm's length at the best of time to make sure they didn't score. Because as soon as we scored, I know we scored later on, But in terms of them actually trying to put us under pressure, they did enough, but not even near enough to beat us.
And ultimately, they did have to go back to that low block then by default because of Villa's play, and they were just forced into the 5. Even you pointed out at 1.6 going across the back line.
Well, I thought because they were giving it, I thought they gave the ball away too easy for us, certainly in the first, I don't know, let's just say 55 minutes. But they were getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, which made it more difficult for us, James.
Yeah, it does when you play 5 across the back. There's not an awful lot of space. I think you're right in how they started the game. They started a little bit more positive than we'd imagined, but I think after half an hour it then became really evident that it was a low block, and it is difficult to break down, and that is when set pieces and strikes from outside the box like we're seeing become really important in your games.
If you think, Kate, the way the game goes, if we're Rob Edwards at the moment, you're kind of happy the way the game's going because there's nowhere for us to go. We can't get in behind. We're trying to get the ball in wide areas and get it into the box. And to be fair to them, defensively, I thought they were as better than they have been.
Yeah.
Naturally, because they didn't concede until whenever Kamara had an unbelievable strike for the goal, and it could have went that whole way for us, genuinely, because we had a couple of half chances and we didn't really manage to make the best of them. And obviously Wolves are happy at that point, but at the same time I still think we were by far the better team, and they didn't really threaten anything Emi Martinez had to worry about too much, really, did they?
No, he made some good saves
in
the first half, didn't he, that kept it 0-0, which is another bonus having.
Well, that was the point I was trying to say. They actually had a kind of bit of a go, because if you're working Emi Martinez, you're doing something kind of half right.
Yeah. No, he did make some really good saves.
I wanted to ask you about that because you just alluded to it there about when teams come here and they sit in the low block, which we tend to expect with those teams that don't necessarily have the firepower to be able to beat Villa. We saw that plenty of times last year, and we saw it again here, and taking the shots from outside the box, which has been a bit of an MO for Villa so far this season. And you were seeing the likes of Yuri Tielemans and all taking pretty distant shots on. And do you think that that's kind of the best line of attack then for Villa when they're up against the low block, or is it literally unpicking the lock?
I think it's a bit of both. I think the shoot it from distance, if they are in a low block, if you're continuously going to do it, then it can potentially start opening gaps in their defence, because they're going to have to come out and get some pressure on the shot, or like we see, put it in the top corner, and it doesn't really matter.
What you really need to, when a team plays so defensively as deep as that, you need someone to come up with something individual and at least try and still get width and get to the byline and cut it back to make it not so much a shot from outside the box, but somebody, your midfield supporting any play you've got, whatever side you're on. And we really struggled to do that today. We did it, but it wasn't as easy because, I mean, I've played against teams who defend right on the edge of the box and there's nowhere to go, and and to be fair to Sam Johnston, I don't think we worked him enough, to be fair, did we really?
No, I don't really recall to when he said.
No, exactly. So that just shows you they managed to restrict us a lot today, Wolverhampton Wanderers. And at one point they'd have been happy the way the game was going until obviously Boubacar Kamara comes up with an absolute belter. Yeah,
and another assist then for John McGinn as well. Yeah. And of course he was celebrating beforehand.
He was brilliant today. Yeah.
And just to take it back to the start before the game, the tifo and everything, credit to the team there for our match day experience team, because the tifo was fantastic. We actually all ran out, didn't we, to make sure that we got the shots of it. And for him, I can only imagine what that must do for you to see yourself in a tifo up there. Hopefully it just resonates with John. I know he's so humble and down to earth, but just how much he means to us and the fact we could use this game to really celebrate him.
Yeah, and I think his performance shown today how important it is to this club and this football team. A game is slicky like today, he'll be the one who will grab it by the scruff of the neck, and with his assist for the goal, it's evident in that, and just how important he is. And I'm sure he would have had a wry smile at the tifo in the Holt, and it was something really special.
So cool. And we actually said, didn't we? I can't remember which minute it was in or who he put on the floor, but he managed to deck someone with his own backside and then ran the length of the pitch and managed to win a corner.
Yeah, he managed to elbow somebody in the face, which was fantastic. I shouldn't say that, but I don't think there was minimum contact with the player. I think it was Joe Gomez actually that stayed down, but nevertheless His play today was brilliant, and at times there was a spell after 20-25 minutes when they were having tackles and we were having tackles, and it felt like a bit of a derby game. And the fans were pretty good. Well, our fans were brilliant, and everybody was up for it. And there was one time when they passed the ball back, and they weren't just as deep as they normally were. And John was the catalyst that drove forward, that pushed everybody forward to put them under pressure to give the ball away, and they actually gave us the ball. So it was one of those games today that John McGinn absolutely had by the scruff of the neck. But in terms of goal-scoring chances for us today, to be fair to Wolves, they limited us, but maybe we could have done better with some of the opportunities we had.
A weird moment was the VAR decision. That was odd. Can you talk us through that? Because again, we were all sat there a bit sort of perplexed by what was going on, because we saw Boubacar Kamara got that pelter of a bash basically, and he was down for quite a while. Wolves refused to put it out of play, and then eventually, however many minutes later, we get the call that VAR was intervening for potential foul play, and it results in a yellow card. It was a bit sort of, we were all kind of a bit perplexed.
You're on your own here.
I didn't actually know that was a possibility, that you can go over to the screen and be booked with a yellow card.
I don't.
Me and you both seen the replay back and question whether it was even a foul.
By the way,
I think it's the fact that he jumps with 2 feet, but he does it.
He doesn't make a lot
on the
of
floor
contact,
before Boubacar and doesn't make any contact. So I think that's perhaps why he picked up a yellow, because he went with 2 feet rather than.
We want all the results to get them right, and VAR's meant to help us. VAR last week against Leeds United, Leeds were offside. I'm sorry for the first goal.
The toe apparently.
I'm sorry.
Count,
well, which is ridiculous as well, just because I've got size 10s and whoever I'm standing next to has got size 6s, and my big toe's offside. It's a complete nonsense. But today I wasn't aware that you could go to VAR and then only book the player.
And for yellows, I don't think they could intervene for yellows in any sort of course. No. But anyway, we've learned something new today. They can.
So, I mean, you've asked the. What was your answer to the question of VAR, by the way?
Deflected.
So anyway, the bottom line is it's a very strange decision. The referee's given him a yellow card. We've played on, and listen, the good news is after 99 minutes, we've managed to, maybe the result today was more important than the performance, because we've got 3 points, because we keep the momentum going, and we're in the top 4.
And it was interesting because, of course, we said beforehand about Ollie Watkins not being in the starting 11. But then he came on, because I said to you, every time Marlon and Watkins have played together, it seems on the face of it as though it's worked, but Unai seemed kind of reticent to at least start a game with those two playing together. However, of course, on the, can't remember which minute, 60-something minute, Emi Buendia goes off, Ollie Watkins comes on, plays alongside Donyell Marlin. What do you make of them playing together? Do you think they complement each other?
I thought they did okay. I think the way the game was going today, it was very difficult. You've got to play in a 2 and you've got to play close together. But at the same time, there wasn't much space for either of them to get in, because normally, even if you play in a 2, you're looking for one of you either to go short to show, and one goes long or in behind, and neither of them had the opportunity to do that. So it was a tough game for strikers today, or for forward players. The midfield had plenty of play. They managed to get the ball. It was for our full-backs to try and get into play and get the ball in the box. But we didn't do it as well as we've done. We certainly didn't do it as well as we did against Bournemouth. Of that, there's no doubt. But then again, you put that down to the way Wolves were setting up today, and Rob Edwards has come here to make sure they didn't get beat, and they almost got away with it. And then obviously Boubacar Kamara comes up with a great strike. So listen, I genuinely, in terms of the performance, the lads will be like, that was tough. It was a harder game today than the Bournemouth game, not because we won 4-0, but just because of the way they set up, and the pressure was on us to break them down. Remember, we're at home, we're pushing for a top 4, they're fighting for their life. So I think in terms of that, the boys are going to be delighted, are they not?
Oh, they will, because I think games like this sometimes aren't particularly enjoyable to play in when you're playing against a deep block, and you're trying to find a way of getting through that and getting the right result. So I'm sure they'll be very happy in the change room.
I think the manager will be delighted, seriously. I think the manager will be overcome with, seriously, in terms of the result rather than the performance, knowing how the game was going and how it was tough for us to break them down, and the chances we had were minimal in the second half. I thought we'd have more clear-cut chances. Maybe a couple of times when Emi Buendia was running, or Morgan or John McGinn, that final pass was maybe just lacking on us today. It's not criticism of the lads, because games go like that sometimes, and it's tough, and we've had a lot of games in a lot of days, and they're catching up in the boys, so recovery really quickly before we get to Brighton next week, in the middle of the week. But certainly in terms of the result, it's a huge result, even psychologically for the whole football club.
And is that kind of, James, what this run of games games is about really for Villa. It's just getting the results more so than anything else.
Yes, I think so. Certainly when you're playing every 2 or 3 days like we are at the moment. We spoke about the momentum before, and it's a big thing. So to have that going into so many games, it really does help.
Yeah. Shall I read you out some stats? I've got stats.
More
Seeing as we're
Lots
stat
of
attacked,
stats on
I
the
know
show today.
you've been the
Don't
only
give me
one
that
slacking on it.
XG garbage, by the way.
It's pretty interesting here. So in terms of possession, very, very marginal.
62?
52% Villa, 48% Wolves.
Yeah, there you go.
XG,
Great.
1 for Villa, so there you go. 0.49 for Wolves, so it really does just add to that testament, the fact that they are struggling in the final third.
I know you're going to give me some more detail.
No, crack on.
But I'm just going to talk about Wolves with you. But that obviously, I mean, we're obviously happy with the result today, but they'll struggle. I think they're going to struggle this year genuinely because they don't create enough chances. They didn't really, even today. I always say to you, we can't have the ball for 90 minutes and there'll be a spell for our opposition where they'll have it for 15 or 20 minutes and put us under pressure. I didn't see that from Wolves today.
No, it was never something that you felt was really coming. They never really had any spells of possession. I think Rob will be quite pleased in how they've defended today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we'll still be worried as to where they're going to get the goals to be able to get the
where that
points
creativity is
to
actually
keep them
come
up.
from. Did you see signs of positivity or any differences between the Vitor Pereira side and then Rob Edwards' Wolves?
I just think, like I mentioned, he'll be pleased with how they defended. They did look a little bit more organised, and they were difficult to break down with that 5 at the back.
They're not staying up playing like that though.
No, they'll have to come out and try and create. The move for the disallowed goal was nice, but it was few and far between.
Bulging, yeah.
And as much as I'm not making a case for Wolverhampton, I'm just saying how the game went today and the way we managed to cope with it and eventually get a result, which is a positive one for us. I think there was still an inevitability that us as a better team were going to create more chances than them, and eventually one was going to pop. Having said that, it was a screamer that actually won us the game rather than the ball coming across and Malin or Ollie Watkins having a tap in, and that's just the way the game was today, and that's just the way we need to cope with it.
Now, delighted that coming out into the cold, we have our goal scorer of today, Boubacar Kamara, is making his matchday live debut. Congratulations.
Ça va.
How was that? How was the goal for you? It was incredible from where we were looking. Talk us through it from your perspective.
Also me, I don't understand. So just I control and I don't want to run back. They have transition, so I say I need to shoot, and I shoot and goal.
Has that been a thing for Villa this season? Have you had the confidence given to you by Unai to take those shots on from further out? Because you in your position, it's not really practice for you to be taking those sorts of shots.
Some players have this ability, like Amadou or Yuri. They score a lot of goals. Me no, but sometimes during the game is tight. We need to create something, not only cross or because they defend a lot in their box. So I try to shoot and I'm happy.
It was a great goal. It was very tight, wasn't it? There wasn't a lot of space in the middle of the park because they were so deep. There was almost nowhere to go, Bouba.
They defend really well.
Yeah.
I think in the first half they block us. And I have good transition. So in the second half, we continue, but we play more passes.
Yeah.
And I think the goal helped to open some space. And
Is that the best goal you've ever scored?
Yeah, I think so. With my left foot. So
I was going to say that left. Left.
I score more with the left during my career to my right, but I think it's the best goal.
Was today more about the result than the performance today? Because we knew that they were going to be deep. We knew that they wanted to try and not give anything away. So the result was almost bigger than the performance today.
So sometimes you win without playing good.
Yeah.
But the important is the 3 points. If we want to go in Champions League to finish the most high in the table, sometimes we need to win like this.
Yeah.
And it's a tough game. They need points. We need points. So sometimes the battle is hard to play well for the fans. But sometimes we need to win like this.
How's your leg, by the way? How are you okay?
Yeah,
From
yeah,
the-
I'm
you
fine.
got clattered out there
Yes,
earlier on.
no.
You okay?
When I slide after the goal.
Oh, that's
yeah.
not where the injury is. It's not the tackle that you had for the yellow card. For...
No, it's fine. The
No.
tackle,
Yellow card.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
congratulations again. We're
Thanks,
going to let
thanks.
you
Well
go
done.
because it's freezing
Yeah,
out
yeah,
here.
yeah.
So we're going to let you go.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
But congratulations.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for
Bye.
coming out and joining us,
Thank you.
Boubacar.
Thanks,
And
Bouba.
best of luck next week as well. Great to hear from Boubacar Kamara.
Can't believe he said he injured when he did a slide when he scored the goal.
I know. I thought
That's when you're not
away.
used to celebrating. That's what it is.
He's like, I don't really
That's
know
it,
what
yeah.
to do. By the way, in all seriousness, I mean, and he's really humble. He's a brilliant
Yeah.
football player.
So underrated.
And he's even as he's speaking his English, he's thinking about every word he
Yeah.
says. But that's why I asked him. I said, "Have you scored a better goal than that?" Because when you watch it again, it is the sweetest of strikes. And there's no chance Sam Johnson's going to get it. So, yeah, good day all round for him and obviously for us.
He's so underrated. And we're almost trying to gatekeep him as a Villa community, but also celebrate him just enough. But also, we don't want any other clubs really coming in for him because he's so pivotal and just under the radar.
I think, yeah, watching him as a centre half, he would be a dream to have in front of you.
Oh.
The way he plays, defensively, he's always in the correct position, but also he controls the game in possession as well. I think he's massively underrated. What he does for this Villa team, but how he's perceived as well in the world of football.
And he's perceived brilliantly in the world of football, also in the changing room as well, because we spoke to Amadou Onana, how much does he love playing alongside him, and his face lit up. So as soon as you're a player that gives that much joy, especially in a double pivot, I know you love that term, that extra and double pivot in one show.
with his low block and your double pivot.
Welcome to the modern
I
world
don't
of
actually know
football.
what either of them mean, incidentally.
Do you know what term I heard the other day? 5-second frenzy.
The 5-second
5-second
frenzy. What's
to
that?
Just go and get the ball back when you've lost it.
Oh,
And I looked at them and said, "What are you
5-second
talking about?
lovely
5-second
terms,
frenzy."
lovely.
I can remember when I did all my coaching badges before. This is a long time ago, and there was the Pomo position, the position of maximum opportunity.
yeah.
And I was
Yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
I'm always looking for an opportunity to try and get in behind or thing. And I was like, really, just pass the ball and we'll kick in the net. I mean, seriously. But listen, whether we want to be the 5-second frenzy, there was a 25-minute frenzy
It was great.
in the first half. It was brilliant,
the
wasn't it?
little spell in the middle of all the tackles. It was a throwback.
Where the tackles were properly going in. But hey, listen, we're laughing and joking. Everybody's in a good mood. Kamara's bagged a goal with his left peg, which is not unusual. And we knew it was going to be a tough game today, but the bottom line is the 3 points have put us in such a strong position with really tough games coming up. And I'll mention them again: Brighton away, Arsenal home, over in Basel, and then down at West Ham. So listen, there's some tough games coming up over a period of Christmas and New Year, and it's down to the lads to prepare as best they can and get ready for it.
And Villa currently up to third, but of course it's 5 minutes into kick-off between Chelsea and Arsenal. So I don't really know what we're hoping for there. Are we hoping for a...
I'll take Arsenal just to run away with
And if they lose, then we could be a title challenger. Then.
Well, all right, let's go with that one then.
Yes.
That sounds better. That one.
Let's drive forwards. Yeah, right, lads. I'm going to ask you quickly before we sign off, your player of the match. Now, I actually gave you a heads up over this, so don't look confused, the pair of you.
I don't remember you saying
No,
that.
no, I must have missed that as well.
You
Well, I
go
must be
first.
talking to myself.
I'll go
Player
VAR.
of the
VAR, man of the match. I mean, seriously. Just because I think John McGinn was brilliant today,
Yeah.
genuinely. I'll tell you who was really good today, and nobody's going to speak about him.
Yeah.
But Ezri Konsa today at the back
Rolls
was
Royce.
so. I mean, you obviously watching him probably more than I would, but he just seemed to be attracted to the ball. He won a couple of really important headers with the 9 minute extra time.
He made a great
came
one,
up.
didn't he? In
Yeah,
the second
you know,
half
because
as
he
well.
knows he's got to go in. He knows he's going to get contact as well. He probably knows he's going to pick up the foul anyway because of the contact. But I thought he was really good. But just because he's never scored a goal like that in his life before, I'll go for Boubacar Kamara.
Okay, so you've given us a top three basically there.
Yeah,
But ultimately,
it's just
with
John's
Kamara.
so important, and Konsa, nobody's going to speak about him.
No,
Some of the stuff he did today for us, just reading a bit of danger. You know how I speak about, just having a smell of like, there's something not right here.
Yeah.
He's really good at it. He's genuinely really good at it. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm giving it to Book.
Right, he's bought you enough time.
I'm giving it to John.
Yeah,
Yeah, just because of
you got a tifo.
for that alone. Yeah, but when games are tight, he drags the team along. Martinez made some good saves as well.
Yeah, he did. Didn't he? I
0-0,
forgot about
so-
that actually. Yeah.
But I
There
think
you
just on Ezri, I think that's a sign of a good defender, isn't
Yeah.
it? When you're not really noticed and not really spoke about too
Absolutely.
much. But
There you go. We've both basically given me a top 3 as well. So that has landed very nicely. Lads, thank you so much to the pair of you two for all of your
Thank you
time,
very
hard
much.
work, efforts, and for coming back as well. A big thank you to you for watching. Another 3 points for Aston Villa, up to 3rd in the Premier League for the time being. Wolves had no bite and ultimately left with their tails between their legs.